First off, tell me your name and a little bit about you.
All right, I'm Charlie Poncho Wilson from Metro Atlanta, Georgia, and I've been in Rome. Actually, I lived here back in the early 2000s, worked as a news reporter, and came back up here about 4 months ago on a self-improvement mission. And the only place I knew to go that would really benefit me was back here to Rome.
When you say a self-improvement mission, explain that a little bit.
All right. I've dealt and wrestled with a lot of personal stuff that has accumulated over the past 10 years with my mom passing very unexpectedly and very tragically. So I had a best friend up here in Rome, and I know the area real well, and I've got a big support network here of friends. But my best friend growing up from junior high has got some beautiful property here, and he had lost his mom very tragically this past year, 2014. So I called him and I just had enough, and I said, man, I've got to get out of what I'm in. And I just need to get back up to Rome with my friends and get myself back together.
What is it about Rome that allows you to do that differs than anywhere else?
Well, the first big thing is the support network I have here. I've had so many great friends, so many inspirations. A guy named Logan Boss, who's been a major inspiration to me, and guy can ride a mountain bike like you've never seen, and he's in his early 60s. So that's a big deal for me to look at him and say that, you know, I can be that kind of person, fit on the inside and outside like him. In that time in my life, I've got, the Rome Mayor, Jamie Doss, support me. I've got Wendy Davis, who's one of my favorite people of all times, Rome City Commissioner. Just a big support network. And then you've got the mountains, you've got Cave Spring and all the spring water you can drink. All these great trails around Rome. It's just, there's so much energy here, and there's so many memories of myself back when I was here to begin with. And that's kind of what I wanted to do, was come up here and chase that guy down and see if I still had it in me, especially after what I was involved with in the early or kind of mid-2000s. In 2008, I was involved in a pretty serious motorcycle crash.
Occupation, what are you doing for work?
I'm a media consultant back in Atlanta, so I've got, and that's one of the things was, my media consultancy. I let a lot of things go. I've got a couple of things going on. I've got some new stuff coming along now too. I am pretty much job searching at the same time. But I will tell you something interesting, and we were discussing this before the real interview started, was I went to pick something up. I've been ordering things here, work supplies and whatnot. I went to pick something up out of the UPS hub out in West Rome, and my friend Tim Raley works there, old BMX guy I knew from back in the day, and my friend John and I saw him, and I'm like thinking to myself, okay, I'm up here to get myself back into shape, physically especially, but mentally and emotionally and spiritually, of course. And I thought to myself, well, dang, they probably need help if the holidays are coming up. I could load trucks or do some kind of physical labor, and they could just hammer me for hours, and that's what I want. So Tim put my name in. Next thing you know, I get interviewed, and I end up riding around in a truck. I end up riding around on a UPS truck as a driver helper delivering packages.
What's something about you folks may not know? You've got several friends, but what's something, when Mr. Wilson's by himself that you just do?
Well, I'd like to touch on a personal thing, because this is what I want people to take away from this interview is, I mentioned my mom and I mentioned my friend John's mom and how we've kind of come together to heal. I just want folks to think about their personal relationships with people and themselves especially, and what that means to them. You've only got one life, and this is a pretty freaking awesome world we live in. If you're not surrounding yourself with people who really love you, and you're not really loving yourself, then you got to figure something out about that. You really need to figure out what's going to make you happy. You can't surround yourself with material things, because literally I came up here mattress on the floor style. And I'm so blessed to have so many great people in my life. And the person that they're going to be looking at when I come back to Atlanta is a whole new guy. And I want anybody who has ever had any doubts about themselves, about their personal relationships, about their faith, about their work, that life, it just isn't worth it to live unhappily and unfulfilled. And those are some things you really have to ask yourself. And that's the big question I had to ask myself. And it just wasn't worth it anymore. And I had to come up here and just hit the reset button. And thank God for Rome, and thank God for my friends up here.
What's next for Charlie Poncho Olson?
I've finally done something for myself. And I'm going to make everyone who's put stock in me so proud that they have done just that.
And you had a message you wanted to end with.
Well, like I said, my friend's got this beautiful property down here, but that was his mom's homestead. She grew up here in Rome back in the 30s and the 40s, and ended up marrying, obviously, my friend's dad. They settled in Marietta, Georgia, where I grew up. And what an amazing woman. And it's just one of those things where, gosh, I wish I'd gone by and see her more. You know, that's what prompted me to go see John's dad, and how I ended up with this book. And it's called It's Okay to Be a Bluebird by Amelia Paget Reeves. And it's just a collection of poems and her memories of a little girl growing up here. And I'm going to read you a couple excerpts, and we'll close out with this if you want. This is the introduction. You keep in mind, here I am, 13 years later, coming up here. I had to go back to Marietta. Found the book with my friend's dad. I've got one copy here for me. Another copy I'm going to donate to the Roman Area History Museum. But I'm going to read this to you, and it's pretty cool. This is my friend's mom talking to me, and to him and everybody else if they get a hold of this. Introduction. Every single soul on earth has value. The important thing is that we recognize this value in ourselves, our family, friends, and others, and the everyday things around us. Sometimes in recognizing, it's like discovering a gem of great worth, and we want to share it. Amelia Paget Reeves. I'll never forget this time I've had here, and I can't thank everybody enough for allowing me to do this. And that's it, man. I hope I held it together enough for you.